Hey, if you're an agency and you're running between $1 and $3 million annually in revenue and you feel maxed out, this is the moment where your agency either becomes an asset or a prison.
Been in business for 9 years doing this, and I think I had to learn the hard way. And the hard way was I didn't have the time to manage accounts anymore. I didn't have time to do all the sales and grow at the pace we wanted to grow.
In today's episode, I'm with Thomas Padulla of Padulla Media, and we get brutally honest about the 2 million-ish stage.
I want to focus on vision, strategic planning, growing people, growing clients.
When the founder is stretched across sales, delivery, and account management, or other areas, and something is about ready to break, or it's already broken.
You know, I would say the name probably hurts more than it helps when you're trying to scale. But I also think it's a necessity to get to where we are.
We talk about agency owner archetypes, why you often have to learn delegation the hard way, and first systems that you should build when you're trying to separate you and your identity as the owner from your agency so it can finally scale without you. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of From Grind to Gold, talking about agency owner freedoms, wealth, and purpose. And I'm here today with Thomas Padulla, Padulla Media. Welcome, Thomas.
Tony, thanks for having me.
Yeah. I've been excited to have this conversation with you for a while now. We met on LinkedIn and started kind of talking about each other's paths, and I thought everybody would love to hear about yours. But you recently took the agency owner archetype and got that report back. Maybe tell everybody kind of what came back to that, and was there any realizations from that, or any surprises on that, and what that is. And before you answer, I'll just say, everybody, there's 5 archetypes, agency owner archetypes, and the whole purpose of it is to, I call it the mirror, the map, and the vehicle. So first thing you have to do when you are thinking about what you want to do with your agency, and we'll get into that a little bit, but you kind of have to look at yourself and examine yourself a little bit. Because the owner, the leader of the company is the one who charts the course for your agency. So, Thomas, we had you take that, I don't know, it's like 8 questions, 10 questions or something. And what came back when you got that report?
Yeah, so it's a fantastic report, and the more specific, obviously, a report is, the better it can be for an individual. And it reminded me more of a personality test, but as an agency owner. And when you take a personality test and you get the results, it's going to appear obvious, but then it kind of digests why and the specifics to how it can make you better, and the gaps, the weak points. And that's the thing that came back to me is, it was obvious that the vision chaser is what I was, but then to actually, Tony, see the gaps and read through the report was very eye-opening to me. And it kind of tells you like who you should hire, what are your next steps, and it gives you the vision. I think for any agency owner, it's almost like a coach on paper for what you should be doing next.
Yeah, it's an interesting process. I mean, the whole point is, when you think about your agency, a lot of times agency owners will make their agency themselves, not intentionally. It's just kind of, it becomes part of you. Or at least maybe you think that way. I know I did, because it's almost like your work's out there, even though team's doing it, your name's out there. Padulla Media, your name's on the thing, right? Did you ever go through that, or how do you stand with that?
Yeah, it's a really interesting one, because there's it's all a balancing act. But the name, I would say the name probably hurts more than it helps when you're trying to scale. But I also think it's a necessity to get to where we are.
Yeah. Did you, so one of my, my theories is that when agency owners can separate themselves from the agency work, they really can then start to look at the agency as a vehicle, as an asset, versus like a personal thing that's a part of them, even though it might be. And when you have that vehicle and that asset, you get to make choices about how you invest in that asset, not just from a money standpoint, but a time standpoint. And I'm just curious, tell me what your last 3 years have looked like in your agency.
Yeah, well, I wish I understood what you just said 3 years ago. That's for one. 3 years ago, we were still in I was still managing accounts, still driving all of the business at that point. And the past 3 years has kind of been the transition out of that into not managing no accounts, which is, I think, the number one priority for any agency owner that is still managing accounts is to not manage accounts. Much easier said than done. And to transition sales more so onto a team, engaging with kind of a sales coach, implementing EOS. Obviously, those are the two key things I think any business needs in some form is obviously sales and operating platform that's not, let's schedule a few meetings. But that's been our past 3 years is how do we scale sales and how do we scale our operations system? And we personally use Sandler training for the sales side and EOS for the ops side.
Yeah, I love the Sandler training. I experienced that in multiple industries.
Yep.
So when what caused you to, was there a catalyst moment that caused you to think like, yeah, we got to do this, or was it just your time? What made you make that decision to start going on that path over the last 3 years?
Yeah, I think it was time. I think it was like the only option. I think looking at things, what I would have done differently is, I've been in business for 9 years doing this, and I think I had to learn the hard way. And the hard way was I didn't have the time to manage accounts anymore. I didn't have time to do all the sales and grow at the pace we wanted to grow. And I think I was forced, again, the hard way to learn that I needed to use a team and use a team effectively. But at the same time, I don't think I knew how to do that. So learning the hard way and going the long way, I think in this scenario was the correct way to go about it.
So was it a function, so it got to the point where you were like, oh man, I'm just frazzled, I'm burning my candle at both ends, I'm doing all these things. Was that the forcing thing? Do you think looking back, you could have, if you'd have known a few things ahead of time, you could have intentionally, proactively done that before you got into that trap of, oh, I'm working? Or is it just a function of being an entrepreneur, like, oh, you got to work until stuff breaks, and then that's what causes you to make change? Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
it's a $1 billion question, Tony. I think maybe $10 million question, not billion. But I think for me and my story, if I were to do it over again starting today, I would probably be able to do what I did in 9 years and maybe 4 years, but that's because of what I experienced, right? I also look at people that have the experience and they go ahead and try to do it in that period of time, and I say they have no idea what they're doing, because it takes time to learn the clients, your team, your capabilities, build ops systems, and so I don't know if there's anything I would have done differently, because I did need to learn things the hard way. If I didn't go through the past 3 years, we would not be where we are today. But if I were to do it again, I would definitely do things differently. But time probably is not going to be one of those things.
It's also a little bit of a function of where you're at and what the business can afford, right?
Yeah.
because you might have all of these ideas, but the business just can't afford to do that, to have that. So when you think about the systems you build out, what are the ones you started with when you said, "Oh, we have to do this differently"? What did
Yeah.
where did you start? There's a lot of by the way, there's a ton of information out there about in peer groups and from coaches, from people. There's about building your agency, and
This is an
depending on who you
emotional one
talk
for me,
to.
Tony.
What's that?
This is an emotional one for me that I feel very deeply about.
Oh, interesting. What do you mean by that?
So I think we're in a world where when you start up, you're kind of told that AI can do everything. And
Yeah.
I think it's a shortcut around learning.
Yeah.
And I see it every day with clients and other agencies. I think the only person you're cheating is yourself. And when I started, we had simple task management that now turned into automation, full-blown systems that we built from the ground up. And now people are kind of handed a full-blown operating system using AI. And I don't think you learn much when you start with that.
Well, it's funny because I use AI. My agencies use AI. And I always go back to this. Even the managed IT provider that's a really good client of mine and or has been. It's just another tool. It's a powerful tool, but the experience you have, like let's say you're building out a sales funnel. You don't just go build me out a sales funnel. You can, there's tools, I don't know, which that's the other thing. There's like 100 different tools you could use, different stacks. But you still have to have the smarts to know whether it's feeding you junk or not. And the only way you do that is through experience, I think is what you're saying, right? The only way that that this might work or not work or which direction to go. It's like talking to another person, right? That advises you. Hey, I think we should do it this way. And as the expert, as the person who understands strategy and knows how to think about these things, because that's really what you're doing as an agency owner, is you're teaching your clients how to think about this stuff. And then you go build things for them, but you need them to think about this stuff, and they need to communicate to you what they know about their customers, their process.
It's a tool. I 100% agree. It's a tool. It needs to be used in every aspect of the business, in my opinion. But I don't think it should be the first resource where people go. When you're starting a business and you need guidance and advice, if you utilize AI as your only resource to help you grow that business, it's not going to develop anything new. It just uses past data sets of what already has happened.
Because my son, who's 18, he's getting ready to graduate from high school, and he whenever he sees me looking at AI slop, that's the term, he's just completely allergic to it. And I had a conversation with a couple guys that do video production, and they were like, yeah, AI can do quite a bit and it looks real, but there's something about connection with people. Like if you don't feel you're connected, you just switch off. You just go, oh, it's AI. At least that's been my experience. That's kind of what these guys were talking about, is that you still need to make a connection with people in video. This, because their whole world is video production and producing all kinds of video for that, for marketing and different stages and of the pipeline and just all that video production stuff. And they were saying the same thing. You still need to understand, what story should I tell? And if you're
And
leveraging AI, now they're doing things like, AI helps them edit faster. So you can iterate faster, I think, is one of the things I've learned. But you still need to read it all. You still need to go through it all, and be the editor. So back to building your agency, when you decided, hey, we've got to do this a different way. Did you choose a first system? Like, did you look at your back office systems first and then graduate to your other systems and process? How did you approach that?
utilizing ClickUp as our operations software or our system. And we've grown within ClickUp. We've built it ourselves from the ground up. And we change it, I would say every 18 months we have to kind of do a massive overhaul. But ClickUp is our back office. And then for our CRM, we use HubSpot.
Interesting. And do you guys, in your agency, do you guys resell HubSpot and help implement that? I can't remember if you guys do that kind of stuff, or
We do not.
is that why you chose HubSpot?
We've explored it. We have not decided to go that route. Our focus is really focusing on client-owned assets and operating within. We do a lot of home services, so there's other CRMs that typically clients prefer.
Oh, okay. So you guys jump in and out of different CRMs depending on.
All the time. Yeah, all the time.
Yeah, you almost have to. Which is another reason why choosing a vertical or a sector helps, because
Yep.
then you get familiar with their tools that they use. You don't have to, your team doesn't have to jump around. So, I'm big on leveraging your agency as a vehicle for freedom. What, if you fast forward 3 years, what's Thomas Padulla's life look like?
Yeah, Tony, I want to focus on vision, strategic planning, growing people, growing clients, and like you say all the time, I look at it as a leverage tool to inspire people, to grow people, to help the community. And just because I'm not managing accounts or maybe selling day to day, I want to manage the people that do and lead the people that do and help them become better. So 3 years from now, I want a strong team that I can grow and inspire, and do the same for our clients as well. And just connect people. I mean, I think there's amazing things that can happen just by connecting people.
Yeah, you've always been a good connector of people.
Appreciate that.
You also do something I think you talk about community. I think I watched a video of yours where you went out into your local community with all your local clients and kind of filmed. I thought it was really cool where you filmed the town part of it and the outside of their business, and you kind of maybe featured them a little bit. But man, I thought that was the coolest thing, because not only did you get a look at the clients you serve, but you got to look at the the town, city you were in, and it just made me feel like, wow, this guy gives a rip about everything, the economy that he's helping.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Tony. I literally get the chills as you said that, because when COVID hit, the first video that we did during COVID was take a video inside your business or at home, send it to us, and we're going to put a video together. I think we got 10 or 20,000 views in the matter of a couple days. And, a couple weeks after that, shop local, whole video on shop local. And then we did another video a year later about how, our town is such a great place. And, I think a lot of people worry about, a lot of things, whether it's global, national, state. And the only thing that really matters is your town or township or county. And I think you can do stuff. You can do things at that level to help your economy, And maybe time complaining or talking about higher level things should be spent on a more local level, and I truly believe in that.
Well, the impact you can certainly have locally, it's the people you touch every day, right? The people you talk to every day, and they're all running businesses out there. I think part of that is gets into a little bit of purpose, right? Why did we get into this marketing game in the first place? And okay, it's a nice way to make a living. It's one of the most complex businesses there is to run. I can tell you that. We're not stamping out widgets at although that's gotten real complicated too, not to put that type of business down, but you've got client relationships. I guess every business is complicated these days now that I think about it, just because of all the technologies involved.
Yep.
But you have to have really good relationships with your clients. But in the end of the day, I like the fact that as a marketer, you get to help position and grow brands. And these people that own those businesses and the people that work in those businesses rely on the stuff we do every day.
I don't think there's a better business, Tony, I mean, maybe aside from sales, you understand a business, you learn a business, you have to understand where they make money, where they don't make money, and guide them on how to grow and scale. And I think marketing agencies are one of the greatest businesses to have, because they make such a substantial impact in a community because you're connecting people on a larger scale.
Yeah, for sure. So let's talk about purpose a little bit, and then we'll kind of wrap it up. But when I started doing this stuff with, I wrote the book Grind to Gold, talking about how you can leverage your agency to find freedom and wealth and build that for yourself rather than stay in the grind. And as I've gotten deeper into it, it's really more about helping agency owners find their purpose. And I actually did some research on purpose. I had a woman, her name's Joanne, and she serves at a college here in town, Seattle Pacific University. And she said, "Oh, you're talking about purpose. Here's a paper on purpose." Like, not a paper on purpose, but it was, I think the title of it was, and I've got it here, or the title of it is, um, what's what is the purpose of purpose? Why you may not, why your why may not be what you think it is. Sorry. What is the purpose of purpose? Your why may not be what you think it is. And I was like, oh wow, that's intriguing. Well, it got into it and it said there's really three forms of purpose. You can have, which most people think of one of the forms, which is a big cause. Like, hey, my purpose is to support this cause. But there are two other ways that purpose manifests itself, and that is in expertise. So what I want to build is the best, uh, as it's the best, most, you know, I almost said most excellent, which is like a Bill and Ted reference. But for those of you who are old enough to remember Bill and Ted,
No.
I think of like a samurai sword maker. They are all about the craft. That's what they devote their life to, their purpose. It's when things get tough, you can lean on your purpose, right? They're all about the craft. And so you have a cause. They're all about supporting a great cause. And then the other part of purpose is why am I drawing a blank? Culture. You want to build the best community the discipline around how they build standards and behavior, and the type of business that people love to work for. They're just all about culture. So it's like competence and excellence, culture, and cause are the three different avenues of purpose. When I say those three, what kind of comes to your mind? Because I think you may have talked about culture, because you want to help people, you want to make sure that they're doing well. But I don't know. That's kind of what I heard. But how do you think about purpose?
Yeah. So this is really interesting, and I think culture is really difficult to maintain on a client level when you're growing at a rapid pace. Because we've redone our mission statement, our purpose statement, our core values probably 3 times in the past 9 years. So how do you maintain that standard when you're growing at a rapid pace? So number one, I think it's probably the most important thing for your team, your handbook, because when you make key decisions, you need to look somewhere, and it can't be, hey, let's just make a decision, sitting here. It's got to be, where are we looking, right? And let's open our book. Let's see, let's look on the wall and see, where does this decision align with our core values and our mission statement? Does it align with those? And when you have clients from 9 years ago, should they be a client today? And that's where I think it gets really difficult with culture on the client side.
I love how you said, look, we've changed our core values 3 times. I think that's a normal thing.
Yeah, it should be.
You evolve. It should be. You evolve, especially in some of the early stages. When you're sub 5 million, I would say it does happen. That's a normal thing. Maybe every big change cycle you go through. It's rare that you have somebody that starts an agency that has core values that goes through that process, that it sticks for forever. Because you do evolve, right?
Yeah.
And you get more people, leadership team, and it's like, hey, that's not how I want to be, or that's, and the fact that when you're making major decisions, that you lean on core values and you lean on mission, like, does this fit? And if it doesn't fit, it doesn't fit.
Yep.
I think it's decision making easier, way easier.
I think it's very important, though. I just to back that up, I think it is the most important thing as a business in growing revenue, growing your team, growing your profitability, the core values, mission statement. You need to look back at them when making key decisions, but they will change.
Yeah. So when you think about your purpose as an agency owner that's separate from those core values, or maybe a part of those core values, you want to make sure that you have the right people that are serving clients in the way that, and you want to be the leader of those people, help them make good choices.
We really want to focus on helping our community, but on a very focused level. I think a lot of people, like other examples are, someone will go sponsor 20 different organizations and kind of cast a wide net. We support a select few, and we support them incredibly well. And we really focus on our impact, and we focus on our clients. We truly believe in that level of focus because we do believe that separates us.
And you guys are, if I'm up in Pennsylvania somewhere, right?
Yep, right outside Philadelphia, but called the Philadelphia market.
Okay, on the other side. Okay. So I don't know if those are organizations you want to name on the podcast, or we don't have to do that, but you feel free to do that if you want. But I think it's great that you're really digging into supporting community.
Yeah, I mean, I won't name them specifically just because I'd rather focus on the overall mission, but economic empowerment, youth leadership, and we are really firm believers in effective chambers.
Oh, nice. Nice. I like that. Well, hey, Thomas, anything you want to leave the audience with? Agency owner to agency owner?
Yeah, Tony, I want to kind of reiterate going back to the Archetype here. It was an amazing exercise and journey to get that so quickly. So I hope you spread the word very quickly because I think it's very beneficial to get this in agency owners' hands.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Well, appreciate having you on, Thomas, and any agency owner that's watching this, that's in the grind. Definitely, Thomas has some really, I would say, just smart, intelligent thought on how to look at your agency and how to grow it.
Thanks for having me, Tony.
All right.